Get to verse 14. So, verse 6. No, excuse me, verse 5. And many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ, and will mislead many. Now, let's just stop right there. That has happened. That has been happening. That probably will happen again.
How
Okay?
many cults have there been?
Who's one that we know of?
Jim Jones.
That's right, Jim Jones. Back in 132 BC, AD, there was another guy in Bar Kosh or something like that. But anyway, he kept going saying, I'm the Messiah. And not only did he say, I'm the Messiah, but he got a white horse and rode into Jerusalem. You know, this is after Jerusalem was destroyed, and Christians and everybody else were trying to rebuild Jerusalem and stuff like that. And he rises, I am the Messiah, I am the Messiah. This is recorded, okay, in history books. He wasn't, okay. There's been a lot of people who have come and said, Jim Jones, the guy up in Seattle,
Texas, David Koresh.
There's been many. Okay, and we can go through it. But the thing is that what Jesus is saying, he says, listen, I'm telling you this, there will be many who will come in my name and will say, I am the Christ, and will mislead many. And that's the true thing. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Verse 6. See to it, and I love this. See to it that you're not frightened. So again, this is a key piece in all this. God is not telling you all this stuff that's getting ready to happen to scare us,
Right on.
to frighten us.
Don't be sweating it. Don't be losing sleep.
No.
Don't lose your appetite, man. Let God drive.
We're reading through the book of Acts as a youth group. And I love it because what happens is Peter's already been put in prison once and got miraculously released. Now what happens is Herod, and again, Herod is more of a title instead of a person's name, but this is like the son and grandson of Herod. But this Herod here, he finds that he went and he captured John, who is the brother captured James, who's the brother of John. Remember the sons of thunder, and the older brother James was captured, and Herod killed him quick. The Jews were ecstatic. So and it says in Acts, it says, since that happened, and when he wants the popularity of the Jews, he now wants to go ahead and he captures Peter. Now he's already heard that Peter apparently has escaped prison once. So it says in Scripture that they assigned 2 men on either side of him, chained. Then there was a set of guards in front of that jail cell. Then there was another set of guards. There was like 16 guards protecting this guy, but he wasn't going to kill him because it was a Passover. So it's already been at least a year since Christ has already reigned.
So we're going to get through all this.
So what happens is he waits. Now there's all the believers are sitting in a house called a house of Mary, whose son is John Mark, and that Mark is the same Mark that writes the good news letter of Mark. So they're in John Mark's mom's house, and a group of people are just praying. And so what happens is an angel comes, and I love this. What's Peter doing? He's sound asleep. Now think about this. You talk about not being frightened. Peter had already seen that God had protected him before. So Peter's locked up. He's not singing like the previous time. He's asleep. So an angel comes up, kicks him on the side. Peter, come on, wake up. Get your shoes, put on your coat, tie your shoes, put on your belt, let's go.
Go, buddy.
Chains automatically fall off. Where's the guards? The guards are, I don't know, they're saying what the guards are doing. Then the gates start opening. He gets out, and Peter's thinking he's in a trance or he's in a vision. This is all it. But when he finally gets outside and he's on the street, he's going, this is real. And so he runs to the house where they were meeting. He knocks on the gate. Rhonda shows up, sees Peter, and it's like, wow! She doesn't even open the gate. She runs back and says, hey, Peter's out there. Well, the rest of the people who's been praying for God to release him are going, nah, it must have been Peter's angel or something. So they go out, and lo and behold, they're ecstatic. And Peter's going, be quiet, be quiet. It's interesting because what happens is Peter was not frightened. Peter was scared to death when Jesus was arrested. He denied Christ 3 times. Now 2 or 3 years later, here is Peter who's chained. He knows people are praying for him. What is he doing? He's asleep.
God's
He's not scared at all. And so I love this verse when it says, see to it that you're not frightened, for those things must take place, but that is still not the end. Verse 7. For nations will rise against nations, kingdoms against kingdoms in various places, and there will be famines and there will be earthquakes. Guys, if you haven't been watching the news over the past 10, 12 years, there's been some significant earthquakes.
There's some significant famine in this
There's been
planet.
some famines and everything else.
Right.
So what happens? But, he says in verse 8, all these things are merely the beginning of birth pains. They will deliver you to tribulation. Now, again, people see that word and all of a sudden they go, oh, tribulation, 7 weeks. Again, the word tribulation just means oppression. And so he's talking right now, he's talking to them, to the disciples. They're going to deliver you
You ain't seen nothing
in
yet.
tribulation. But not only are they going to deliver you, but yet God sees the full picture. And the people who believe in Christ are going to be delivered, and there will be tribulations upon a lot of people who believe. And they will kill you, and you will be hated by all the nations because of my name. Now think about this. Now the people who believe in pre-trib and believe that Jesus in this section is only talking to the Jews, they're saying that, hey, during this period of time of 7 weeks, all the nations are going to hate you as far as the Jews. Now, why is that? Okay, let's kind of just chase this little rabbit real quick. Pre-trib, just think about it. If we're snatched up before this 7 weeks, what do you think is going to happen? Now, if you watch Hal Lindsey's book, or I don't know who the other writers are, and stuff like that, planes are falling out of the skies, cars are crashing. I mean, it's devastation, right?
But
So whether it's pre-trib or mid-trib, there's going to be some major devastations going on when all the believers are gone. The ones that remain during this period of time will be Jews. That's given, okay? Because they haven't accepted Christ. And once they see the Christians leave, whether it's mid-trib or pre-trib, they're going to start believing.
they get their chance to convert.
Right. And just as we read earlier in chapter 3, that when Jesus comes, they will not come until they say, blessed is the name of the Lord, okay? They recognize that Messiah is the Messiah, okay? So what happens is he says, you will be delivered, verse 9, that you will be delivered to tribulation, and you will be killed, and you will be hated by all the nations because of my name. Verse 10, at that time, many will fall away and will betray one another and hate one another. So what he's saying is, hey, look, some people are not going to like the tribulation period they live in. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey, I give up on God. I'm going to follow the crowd. Hey, look over there. He's a believer, and guess what? The Jews, they're in Acts, were trying to get rid of the Christians, and they laid their coats at Saul's feet. So what? But they're going to be, and not only that, but you're going to be hated by all the nations because of my name. That really truly hasn't happened 100% yet.
Not 100%.
At that time, watch this. At that time, many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. Many false prophets will rise and mislead. Now, these are not people who call themselves the Messiah. These are teachers who are teaching the flock, and yet they're misleading the flock. And trust me, guys, we live in this age today.
And while you're busy selling your book, while you're busy filling the seats and passing the plate, living in your $1 million house, all this to your benefit, not to the benefit
That's right.
of God.
That's right. So many prophets will rise and will mislead. And because of the lawlessness increase, get this, most people's love. Now we see the word love and we just keep going because we've only got one word for love in American English, and that's love. But most people's love will grow cold. Now, here's the interesting piece. Let's go back to the Greek.
Right on.
What word is used? What do you think? For love. There's 3 words. Well, actually, there's 5 words for love.
Right on, but agape, eros, you got
Yeah.
the...
So what word do you think it is?
Video.
No. It's agape.
Now agape, that's love in
unselfish
action.
love. So now I want you to capture this because this is important. Because of the lawlessness that increases, people's agape love will grow cold. think about this. Agape love is unselfish love. God commands us to love one another. Agape, love one another unselfishly. But now what happens, because of all this happening, believers who believe in God, who have been shown agape love, is now going to grow cold because of this persecution, because they're going, they're like the first up here, they're going, I don't really want to do this. Here's this guy, find him, don't get me. And so like that, and so because of the lawlessness increases, most people's agape love will grow cold. But, verse 13, but the one who endures to the end, now what's the end? Okay, well again, is it pre-trib, is it mid-trib, is it post-trib? We don't know where the end is. We just know that the one who endures to the end will be what? Will be saved. Okay? And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached to the whole world as a testimony to all the nations. And then the end will come. Okay? So, we're going to stop here. But it's been a lot. Now, and again, I didn't want to